Hey guys, welcome to Mike Eat Yourself. Today's video, I'm going to mount this saddle here from a 2004 Heritage Softail to my 95 Fatboy. Now, I've got to tell you, what I didn't know is that there was a change apparently in the frame of the newer models when they went to the twin cams. So it seems like the seating is the same from, like, when I say it's 86-ish, don't quote me on that one, up to 99, and then after that, then the saddle or the seat framing or underneath of it changed a little bit. So let me show you what I mean. So this is my Lepera. This is a really cool looking seat. It flows really well with the bike. The only problem I have is apparently I have a sensitive tush or something, because like it does some work on my back and stuff, man. It hurts after riding it for a little bit. So I want something that I can ride the bike a little bit longer on, and I bought this used saddle here. So on the bottom, if you notice, this seat is pretty flat. Like, there's no real contours to it, just very, very small ones. And on this seat, it is far different, right? So what's happening is when I put this on the bike, the frame of the bike is hitting this front piece. So let me show you what it looks like on the bike, and then I'll walk you through what I'm going to do to try to get it to fit. First, let's do the intro. Damn it! So here's what it looks like on the bike. And if you look underneath, it's kind of hard just because of the angle of things, but this frame here is hitting right where you saw those white markings. And what it's doing is it's doing two things. When it's creating a gap low here, and then a gap between the tank and this. Now, it's not going to probably sit flush or onto the tank, but when I make the modifications, it should drop it down and at least butt up next to the tank, so there shouldn't be any gap there, or at least that's my hope. So let me talk you through really quick what I'm going to do to make this thing fit. So I had put this thing on the bike, and I took a paint marker and, well, actually, so let me take this step back here. I removed staples that were put into this thing. So if you look really closely here, you can see these rusted out staples. So I had to pull those out because the vinyl was laid over in order to get to the plastic. One, I wanted to see what this thing looked like underneath, and then two, I wanted to be able to mark it up. So once I did that, I was able to put it back on the bike and tag where the frame was actually hitting the bike, or where the frame was hitting the seat. And what I found is, this is the outer portion of the frame, right? And this is where it's kind of hitting. So what I did is I just followed this contour line here and here and marked it up kind of with that flow. I found the point at which the frame no longer hits the seat, which is about here. And then on the front end, I kind of just went with this contour line, right? So this is going to be a little bit of a trial and error, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this section out right here, and that should allow this thing to sit on the frame lower, right? And my hope is by only cutting out that section, I maintain some of the rigidity, the strength of the frame of the seat here by only cutting out these little sections instead of like just slicing out whole things, right? Because my concern is with taking that approach, the foam then doesn't have the support of this. If I take this section out, then I've still got the support here and here, so there shouldn't be really anything lost just because of this one section. So I'm going to use a Dremel and a cutoff wheel to cut this out. I want to be really careful because I don't want to damage the foam underneath. So I'm going to go ahead and knock that out really quick, and then I'll bring you back. Now that the pieces are cut out, we can go ahead and try to test fit it. It's a little rough right now. Again, did it with the Dremel. It'll need to be sanded down a little bit. And then I didn't call this out, but this did come with the little tongue plate deal. And when I was originally trying to fit this to the bike, I took it out. I just drilled out the rivets on it because I thought perhaps that was the the one thing that was keeping it from mounting on the bike correctly, and later found out it was actually the plastic. So I'm gonna have to put that on. It just means I need to rivet it back in place. That's not a big deal. But now I should have the areas that I need removed so that the frame can sit within this a little bit and make this a tighter fit. So let's check it out. So I've got this thing just tacked with the little, or I say little, these things are freaking huge, these bolts here. But I've got that tacked on both sides. And you can see now this sits right on the frame. So those cuts were good to go. The frame is now not necessarily hitting the plastic, it's sitting inside kind of the seat. You don't feel it because it's way down there, right? These seats have a lot of cushion, and that's the purpose I bought this, just because I know it's going to be very cushiony. I've sat on it already. It feels like a ton better than that LaPera seat. Don't get me wrong, the LaPera seat is a very, very nice seat. And I think that if your body's good with it, ride it around, all that kind of good stuff. For me, just wasn't a good fit, so I'm gonna go to this thing. I've also got the rear passenger seat for this, but I wanted to get this mounted up first. But you could see it also did close up this gap a little bit. I'm not bothered by it. I think it looks fine to me. However, one of the things I will have to do, because this is a used seat, is you see it's got little tears here and there, so this will have to be reupholstered. But at the end of the day, this thing works for me. I think it looks great. I'm gonna feel a lot better riding it. So I'm done. I'm just gonna clean up those edges like I showed you using a Dremel and the sander, just to make it look a little bit cleaner. And overall, I think it was a pretty simple deal. So just take note of this. If you're seat shopping, and I got this off of OfferUp, a really, really good deal. So I couldn't pass it up, and it was cheap enough where if I destroyed this thing, I wasn't going to be upset about the money spent on it. So it worked out for me. Now, some of these seats are going for a couple $100 online. If you're buying those, if you're going to spend that much money, I would urge you to definitely get something that 100% is going to fit your bike. But if you're in my situation where you got it for a really good deal, you're willing to swing the opportunity, or not the opportunity, but swing the chance that it might not work out, then you can absolutely make an 04 seat fit your 90s or your Evo generation bike with a little bit of modification to the underbelly of the seat. So hopefully you liked this video. If you did, hit that thumbs up. If you enjoyed the content, consider subscribing to my channel. And if you want to make sure you don't miss out on that next video, hit the notification bell. I produce every Sunday at 9 a.m. So you're not going to get annoyed with a bunch of pings from my channel. And until then, I'll see you in the wind.